Welcome to the Gleeful Meeple, a podcast all about board games where strategy meets laughter and bigger is always better. If you have the table space. In this episode, we went to GenCon and we're going to talk about it. We go big, we go huge, we go colossal. And this week's game of the show, Castles of Mad King Ludwig, Colossal Edition. And you, the Gleeples, get to play along as the hosts get put in the hot seat with this week's game challenge. Build an amazing, extravagant castle for King Ludwig II of Bavaria, one room at a time. Will you be the most responsive to the king's demands?
You okay? Did you hurt yourself there?
I just hit puberty, guys.
I was about to say that was very passionate.
Hey, fellow building contractors.
Well, hey, gang.
Hi, James. It's Emily with fully intact vocal cords.
It's Dwayne wondering who over-caffeinated James for this recording.
And this is both letters 10 and 11 of the alphabet saying hello.
And this is James, and I blame you, Dwayne, because of the soda that you handed me previous to recording. Guys, I have a special limerick for you.
Oh, let's go.
Here we go.
I love the limericks.
I love limericks, but I still can't get over letter 10 and 11. Anyway, limerick,
This
you
is
say.
going to be maybe a challenging one until the last line, which I think might give it away.
All right.
But I wanted to push you guys a little bit.
All right,
I'm
so
excited.
I won't even think about it till the last line then.
From the mind of a known creator, your point of view matters. A gator! Released at GenCon, the hype was so strong. All right, I'm getting blank stares still. Nothing yet. A stone's throw away from wine culture.
It's Vantage.
It is Vantage. JK got
wow.
Okay.
it. You want me to walk through it?
No, it's not going to help because, and you'll find out why when I ask this next question. What is Vantage?
How'd you miss all that?
Because
Don't answer that. That's a part of the game challenge.
I celebrate Gen Con in my own way.
Okay. That's fair. That's it. Way to go, JK.
Thanks.
Man, the one person who didn't attend
Didn't go to
Gen Con.
figured this out.
Yeah, how'd that happen?
That's nice.
Speaking of Gen Con,
Wait. Before we get into Gen Con.
yeah.
So we're recording this first week of August. We're at the tail end of the first week
full
of August.
week. Yeah.
There's a couple game companies that, man, did they get a lot of controversy this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Can we unbox that a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
So we're talking about Devere Games out of Europe, Spain, perhaps,
I think.
who just released a game called Ace of Spades at Gen Con. And we're also talking about Czech Games Edition, CGE, that released a new version of Codenames
Announced.
at Gen Con.
Announced.
It wasn't actually there.
Yeah, announced
No,
a
just
little
announced.
prior to
Yeah.
Gen Con.
Not only were they redoing their entire Codenames line, but they came out with a new edition featuring Codenames Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I think it's technically called Wizarding World Code Names. The licensing is
I think it's
kind of
Hogwarts.
funky. Is
Code
it?
name's Hogwarts.
Okay.
Something
We'll have
Hogwarts.
probably our producer will check this at
Yes.
some point or
We
not.
absolutely did our research before we recorded this, listeners. I think it's Hogwarts.
Yeah. Let's talk about these individually. So, one, I know you guys were at Gen Con. Was there discussion over these while you were there?
I didn't see any. The only discussion that I had was with people in our group as we passed their booths. Like, oh, well, actually, no, I take that back. That was only for CGE.
CGE, the discussion did start at some point at Gen Con. I don't know when exactly, but I know it started there. The Devere discussion definitely did not.
Okay.
The actual person who started that discussion was Jeremy Howard from Man vs. Meeple.
Uh-huh.
And he posted. He realized that when he posted, he says, "I realized this at Gen Con, but I waited to post it until afterwards." So that discussion definitely did not start until afterwards.
So let's get into the heat over both of these. Now, the Harry Potter themed Hogwarts, people are just upset in general that money is being funneled back to J.K. Rowling, especially her bigoted stance on some things. outside of that, I don't think there's any other controversy over the game. It's just the fact of adding more money into her.
Right, especially in a hobby that is as diverse and inclusive as hobby gaming. You know, a lot of people took note. And the weird thing is, it's not like this is the first Harry Potter game to come out. It's not even the first Harry Potter code names to come out, right? But as things
is it the first since she kind of has taken a very public stance?
It is. It's the first since she has taken a public stance on the fact that she actually takes action on her stance now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she actively makes efforts towards funding things that are, anti, social,
Are we talking about first board game or first anything?
It's the first board game that I know of.
Okay, because I was about to say, I feel like Hogwarts Legacy got some of the same conversation. We're talking about video games here.
And that's a few years gone now, right?
Yes,
okay.
yes. It had some of the similar conversation, but I feel like overall it's still been successful and people are still playing it as far as I know.
Yeah. I think we were saying since the last Codenames Harry Potter game, which was a while ago now.
Yeah.
Since then, J.K. Rowling has just taken a more active, not just stance, but actually action on things.
Well, and that's interesting. That's an interesting point comparing like the video game hobby to the board game hobby, right? I think you have some overlap there for sure, but you have very different groups as well. And I don't know if anybody's played an online video game recently, but it's a toxic environment to start with. So I can see where that may not have pulled the attention that it does from our hobby.
Now, conversely, DeVere Games released Ace of Spades at GenCon.
Yes.
And it has been reviewed. It's been discussed publicly. And for some reason, nobody really took a deep dive into the artwork on several cards in this game, which was found to be pretty wildly offensive. Specifically, a slaver card that featured a slaver with a whip, a fugitive card that featured an African-American man in chains, frothing at the mouth.
Yes.
A sitting bull card that featured him as a villain. There was another card,
Django.
the Brute, featured a large Hispanic man, very caricaturized. Couple of others.
Big Bad Voodoo Daddy.
There was just a lot of questioning of whether the cards were appropriate. Jeremy pointed this out on BGG, and a lot of people jumped in defending him and supporting him, and also questioning how did this get past not only DeVere's reviewers, but as well as several public review companies or other companies that review games. How did nobody see this?
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I have heard from some people that have actually reviewed the game that they actually played it 6 or 7 times and never came across the cards. So that is possible, but there's a lot of coverage of it out there.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that it just never even came up at all up to this point. And besides the point, I mean, through all of DeVere's play tests and, and checks and balances of like, oh, let's redo this. And just it never came to it never came up in conversation during that process that maybe this is not okay.
Now, from a company standpoint, they could have just as easily said, "Hey, tough nuggets. This is the way we're releasing these games. You can buy them. You can not buy them. Do what you want to do with this." Both companies reacted very, very well to this.
I think DeVere acted quickly and got the word out. CGE seemed to drag their feet a little bit more. They released about 3 different public statements. One was, "Why are we making this version of Codenames?" And it was more like, we need to figure things out internally before we present a solution. Whereas DeVere was just like, "Oh, nope, we see it. We made a mistake, and we are going to correct that immediately." And I do wonder if because of the timing, DeVere made an announcement overnight for us.
It was within 24 hours of the first post that called out the criticism,
and then within 12 hours of that, CGE made their announcement. So I kind of wonder if they saw what happened there, and they were like, "Oh, we should probably go ahead and get ahead of this, try to get ahead of it as much as we can at this point."
Yeah, because CGE's first statement that was more vague was, a week ago. And is it
work with us? We're figuring it out. We're gonna do this.
And then 12 hours after DeVere, boom, they have a new statement. Yeah.
For the record, DeVere has pulled the game. They are not going to be releasing it in its current form. They're going to reissue it with new art, redesign. They're going to work with some cultural counselors to
consultants,
consultants to figure out what is appropriate.
And that's what, if you already own the game, they'll replace the controversial cards for free.
We have even seen some postings where people have said, hey, I want my money back for this game. I'll send it back to you. And DeVere has said, just throw it away. Just do what you want to do with it. Yeah. We'll refund the money. Yeah. So
put it in the bonfire.
Yeah. They have owned up to it. CGE has kind of reacted by saying 100% of the profits from this game are going to go to charities that are the polar opposite of what J.K. Rowling would support. So they're at least kind of making it where it's a zero-sum game.
Yeah. It was a fascinating thing to watch play out. Unfortunate that it happened, but interesting 100%. To see the companies respond to it the way they did.
Yeah. All right, guys, you got to fill me in on all the news.
Oh my gosh, JK. We missed you.
It was the worst trip ever.
It was the worst GenCon of all time. No, we had a really good time and we really missed you, bud.
I know.
We did.
I know.
It was hard not having you there while we were doing our seminars, which I'm sure we'll get to in a moment, but it was great. We started off by actually arriving about a day early.
Yeah.
So GenCon's Thursday through Sunday, and
at least like 8 hours earlier than normal.
Okay, well, but we had even a little more pre-gaming. Much to my delight, Emily and myself and our car crew of people. Sure, we decided to spend the night about halfway between Nashville and Indianapolis in a wonderful town called Louisville, however you want to pronounce it. Several ways. If you're from the area, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And much to my delight, on our way up there, James is like, hey, can we stay with y'all? And we were like 100%. So we got to do a little like GenCon day zero eve gaming, which was delightful.
GenCon
we got
-1.
turned up a bit.
Literally from the product name.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had something that we needed to get to early Wednesday morning. And so on Tuesday, I'm still in Nashville. I'm thinking, man, that's gonna be old. I have to wake up at like 3 a.m, get up to get there on time. I'm like, man, if we could just like drive halfway and stay somewhere. So then I go into the chat and I'm like,
great
hey.
news. We're driving up halfway.
Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, well, what hotel are you guys staying at? I'll look it up and see if there's any rooms available. Not a hotel. We got an Airbnb, and guess what? It's Sleep 6. We have 2 spots. What?
Yeah, really convenient. My only complaint is that I wish we had been able to get up there earlier because we were in a really good part of Louisville to go hang out and maybe grab a drink and some food. But we were up there way too late for that nonsense.
We can't burn all of our PTO, Dwayne.
I know, and somehow I burned very little of mine through shenanigans.
I know in 2024 you had issues with the Airbnb that you had chose. So no issues this year.
So. Yeah, that's I think a huge conversation is the Airbnb. And we even had a conversation post GenCon where James made a comment. It was like, I don't think I've heard a good Airbnb story. So I am happy to report that this year we had no crisis Airbnb stories, but I still feel like the Airbnb situation in Indianapolis is mediocre. Mm-hmm. So we paid for an Airbnb that sleeps max 8. That is 2 miles away from the convention, and it was just dirty. It was more expensive than what it was worth, in my opinion. The
upkeep just wasn't there.
It wasn't there. The dishwasher was broken. The microwave was broken. The layout of the house is just weird, and so 3 of us were sleeping in a room that had no privacy whatsoever. Yeah. But other than that, like safety wise, I felt fine.
Yeah.
Like neighborhood placement, I felt fine.
We had easy access to buses, which is nice. So we were not spending Uber and Lyft prices every time we went into the convention center.
Which even that, the Uber and Lyft prices were cheaper than I was expecting.
I think we were hitting it at good times.
Yeah.
We didn't stay out. We didn't really stay out during party hours this year, or at least I didn't.
That is true.
Yeah.
We did not
Now, when you say your Airbnb was 2 miles from the convention center, is that American miles or European miles?
So we actually got roasted for that too, because I threw out the idea of, hey, why don't we just like walk to the convention one day? And James's wife is like, I'm sorry, is this the same group that complained about walking 6 blocks last year? Which like we threw out as being European blocks instead of like just normal American blocks. But we ended up walking a lot. I had a great time, logged a lot of workouts on my Apple Watch, not endorsed.
Yeah, Emily and I got really lucky in the hotel lottery and ended up with a connected hotel.
It was fantastic.
So yeah, we had a skywalk right from our hotel to the convention center. And man, if there was, I would pay a premium every year to guarantee that. It just changed the whole experience.
It's one of those that was like, I felt like I was paying for the Airbnb what I would have paid for a connected hotel, and I was not getting the connected hotel experience.
Yeah.
I do like having a full-size fridge. That can be helpful for just like bringing up your own groceries for like 4 days, but
a full-size fridge to hold all the meals you prepared to cook in the microwave that was
that
broken.
doesn't work. So it was one of those. It was like we brought grapes and carrots.
Oh, no.
So we get up, we leave Louisville, and we get to we had an appointment. We had a Wednesday appointment at GenCon. GenCon doesn't start until Thursday, but we were going up there to help friend of the show Ken, who works with Rose Gauntlet Games. Not just works with them, but is a board game designer. He has one of his 1 or 2, I'm not sure, games published with Rose Gauntlet.
The most recent one is Turnip.
Yep. And I think he either has another one already or is working on another one, but he works closely with them, and he asked for some help. Rose Gauntlet Games also has Rose Gauntlet Foundation, and they run the BIPOC Lounge at GenCon every single year. And it has a library in there, and it's a really big space. It's really nice, and they wanted some help setting it up. So we got there at 9 o'clock Wednesday morning and started to help set up the BIPOC Lounge, which was a lot of fun.
We're going to alphabetize these games like no one's business. And we did.
Yeah. So we were there a few hours, got to meet Isaac Vega. Lindsay Vega wasn't there, though they run the company. But Isaac has designed Dead of Winter, Forgotten Waters, just a lot of games.
Plaid Hat Games, yeah.
Plaid Hat Games guy, yep. And also, to my delight, I found out that James Hudson of Skybound Games, which is Wonderland's War and all of those Tidal Blades. You're looking at me weird.
It's like he was Druid City.
Druid City. Yes, I always say that. It used to be Skybound. Sorry. He was with Skybound like 5 years ago. Druid City Games. Sorry, James, if you ever listen to this. But yeah, Wonderland's War, all of that. Got to hang out with him and chat with him for a little bit, and ended up going back to the BIPOC Lounge during the convention and got to play Ryan, friend of the show Ryan, and I got to play a prototype of a roll and write Wonderland's War that uses trick taking.
Yeah, I heard good things about that.
We really enjoyed it. It's pretty neat. I won't go on. We have so much to talk about. I won't hit all the details here, but we'll go right through that. And then we also got to see a prototype of Wonderland's War Duel, which is coming out soon.
I'm not surprised.
So that's coming to crowdfunding soon. I think the roll and write is straight to retail, I'm pretty sure. But so it was cool. Good to see those prototypes, play one of them, chat with James for a bit. James doesn't have a booth out on the main floor. He makes the BIPOC Lounge kind of his station where he just shows off games and stuff. So it was cool.
So after day 0, what highlights did we have starting Thursday?
So pretty early Thursday was our first seminar on how to build and grow a board gaming community.
I think we need to lean into that and hear how that went.
Yeah.
It went really well.
It did.
It was one of those, like, I feel like, a full disclosure, I feel like I've been kind of in a board game slump where just like taking board games to the table, I'm like, it's fine. I like board games. It's okay. But getting to talk to people face to face every seminar, we ran this once a day. There was one woman who came up to me after one of our seminars, and she was like, thank y'all so much. Like, this was really practical advice. Her and her partner were very nervous kind of signing up for the event because they wasn't sure kind of what the tone was going to be. And she was very afraid that the advice was going to be like, go outside, nerds. And it was not that advice. It was very practical. James was the one that made our PowerPoint, and he nailed it.
Great job.
It was, we had an outline and James just kind of like took it and ran with it. And I felt like we had very specific examples that we could give to people. And it seemed like we talked to someone from Minnesota. It was like, this is exactly what I'm trying to do back home. And like someone who said that they haven't seen an event like this on the event catalog at GenCon for like 3+ years. So it was awesome to kind of like fill this like void.
Yeah. I really didn't know what to expect. I was very excited that we had the chance to do this. I've always kind of thought like we have something special in our group, and having the chance to share that was great. Going back to what you said about being meh about board games, that's one thing I love about our community is even if I'm meh on actually playing a game for a while, I know I can go and talk to people about board gaming and share stories, and we have a lot of shared history here, so it was fun to share that with a new audience. And after our first seminar, the way people responded to us, they came up and had questions afterwards. They were excited about what we were doing. That just fueled me for the next, because honestly, I was like, how are we going to do this, 4 times? But after that first time, I was like, oh, this is actually going really, really well.
That's what, there was one, on Sunday, I was like, all right, we got one more, and then we have like a 5-hour drive home. We can do this. It's 11 a.m. We got this. There was an older gentleman that was there, and we kind of go into some of the tech focused aspects of our PowerPoint, and this guy gets up, and I'm like, oh no, we've lost someone. I was like, I promise this is not the crux of our board game group. And then like, thank goodness, I think he was just going to the bathroom or something, because he comes back later, and then he and I like strike up a conversation afterwards, and he's actually from Tennessee. He's from like a more rural area. And so it was interesting too, because it like made me realize like how blessed we are in Nashville, in more of an urban setting where we have so much opportunity and so much variety. And so like talking to someone who's from more rural Tennessee, it's like, okay, you definitely have to get a little bit more creative. Like, is your church going to let you host games? Okay, they're going to limit what kind of games you can play. That makes sense. Is there a community center in your area? Like, is there a park pavilion that doesn't have a roof? Like, just trying to think, okay, what about a buffet? Like, because we talked about restaurants don't like quite vibe with our model.
Always. Not always.
But like any type of restaurant or like fast casual dining where you pay up front so you don't have to worry about a server, where like maybe something like that existed.
Hi, welcome to Moe's.
Yeah,
right.
We're kind of spoiled for venues here, and then we've got like 6 to 8 that we work with right now. But if one of them falls off, we're like, we don't care. Let's get a new one.
Yeah. Well, we care. To be clear, we care about them as
about our
venue,
yes,
but we can always we have
if our relationship temporarily goes south, we have other options.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, we learned some great things at the end. We had a QR code people could scan and give feedback just on how they thought the session went. They got some great feedback. Everyone really did enjoy it, but also got some great takeaways to help us even refine it even more for next year. And I want to say one of my favorite pieces of it is I do a lot of teaching and talking in my day job. I do Zoom classes. I talk on stage and give presentations in breakout sessions at conferences and things. But it's always me doing that. I've not done a lot of group seminars before, and I really enjoyed doing a group seminar with the two of you. And bouncing around and sharing topics and, just going around the room like that was a new experience for me to sharpen that skill set that I've been working on just for a number of years now. So I really enjoyed that, and I really look forward to adding a 4th person in the future.
It might have been just a distraction. I don't know if that would have been a benefit or not.
I mean, we went to the bell every single time.
Yeah,
we just had so much to say.
It was tough because I feel like we don't quite limit ourselves to time when we record the podcast, and when we're the event hall, I was like, y'all, like we have to go to question answers. Like,
were you doing the wrap up signal throughout the thing?
No, because the way I was like usually standing, I was usually like behind James and Dwayne, so I would try to like walk a little bit forward, be like, we gotta go, give them the look.
I kept my phone on the table so I could keep an eye on where we were on time, because we definitely wanted
the
people.
seminars were definitely a highlight of the trip for sure.
Last note about for me on that, and going back to having a connected hotel. When we had a presentation. So, I mean, when you have a presentation, you need a screen of some sort. You need some way to show it. So, it had a projector or a TV. Thankfully, our event was registered as a quote unquote seminar, and we did it 4 times. So 3 of the 4 times, the rooms were actually pre-set up with that equipment. It had a projector and a screen or a TV that we could connect up to. One of the times did not. And we brought all the equipment for it, expecting to actually probably have to use it all 4 times. But the one time that we had to do it, it's a lot of stuff. I have a portable screen that I purchased. We had a projector. We had the Gleeful Meeple banner. It was a lot of stuff. So I had one of the pull behind wagon things that thankfully I only had to pull from my connected hotel to this space because it was the most inconvenient of all 4 spaces.
Yeah.
I could not imagine having to drag that thing through downtown Indy over who knows how many blocks.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 times if we don't get lucky next year.
That would have been let's get an Uber to take us to the venue so we can just pack it all in there.
Yeah.
That's what JK and I were talking about this earlier. When you go to Gen Con for like the first time, like someone can tell you everything to expect, but experiencing it is just like a different level of understanding. And I felt that way about like hosting an event where when I signed us up for this back in January, I was like, I'm just going for it. I don't even know if we're going to get approved. Like, let's just try it and see what happens. And it's like, now that we've gone through it, we're like, okay, like Gen Con made this very seamless, very easy. And like, we were prepared to like provide all of our equipment if needed. And thankfully, like 3 of our event spaces, like didn't need all that equipment. And it was great. And I'm looking forward to hosting more events in the future.
I think the take home for listeners on that is if you have an idea, if you're like, man, I'd really like to talk to a group of board game geeks about this subject, submit it and see what happens. It was, I was surprised how quickly we got accepted. So that was a delightful surprise. Any other highlights from Thursday for anyone?
Well, I mean, it was the start of the con. I'm trying to think of Thursday specifically when I didn't do any of the running of the nerds this time, right? Which is the whole thing, which was actually kind of a relief. Looking back on, I mean, all the days, there was much more stress last year to like get the games. I had mapped it out. I printed out an exhibit hall map. I drew lines from the opening doors to where I wanted to go, and none of that this year.
So, James, for those who might not know, what is the running of the nerds?
There are some publishers that only release X amount of games for sale each day because that's the hotness. So they want to make sure there's some available for everybody each day. So you need to get in line if you want to get one of those copies. So the running of the nerds is, when the exhibit hall opens every single day at 10 o'clock, everybody piles up into that area outside of the exhibit hall. And this isn't like one door. I mean, it's a huge exhibition hall with many entrances.
Yeah.
So there's this huge open hallway that just gets filled with people, this huge mass of people that are waiting for these doors to open.
How many people are we talking here? Like thousands?
Tens of thousands?
No, I want to say tens of thousands.
Well, okay,
and not this one. I mean, the whole convention's 70,000.
Right.
But people in the morning, I mean, a few thousand.
Okay.
At least, for sure.
I remember a friend of the show, Mary, last year volunteered for Keymaster Games. And so they had their like volunteer meeting before the running of the nerds. And she did not have the morning shift. So she was trying to leave as the running of the nerds happened.
Oh, no.
Homegirl got stuck in the exhibit hall for like 30 minutes while the nerds are just coming in. And she's like, I'm just trying to leave.
Yeah. Now, it's not as chaotic as it sounds. I mean, before rules were set in place, there in the past years, there may have actually been running.
But it would have been like Walmart Black Friday.
Exactly. Yeah. Picture that, but not that, because it's literally, I mean, before they open the doors, there's a lady that comes on the intercom and, gives all the rules. No running, no skipping, no. It's pretty funny how she goes
punching
about it. Yeah. So it's really, there's lots of fast walking.
But JK.
That's kind of what's happening.
JK. There was a new bag policy this year. Bag asterisk. There were no wagons allowed on the exhibit floor. There were no empty strollers allowed on the exhibit floor. There were no oversized like bags or like luggage or whatever allowed on the exhit floor.
Our lovely game bags, they weren't allowed in there.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing. I think you can have them in the convention. Just
100%.
Correct.
100%.
Okay.
And I think it helped Like, I felt a huge difference, because that's what, like, we were even trying to think about afterwards, where it was like, ooh, we're trying to wonder, like, because I'm thinking about the new baggage policy, and I'm thinking about tariffs and how they affected the con as a whole. And GenCon still broke attendance records with like 72,000 attendees. And that was the best exhibit hall experience I have ever had.
More breathing room.
More breathing room. I still got overstimulated. So every time I left the exhibit hall, I would go to my boyfriend and be like, hey.
Did you cry?
No, I did not cry.
Okay.
But I was like, don't talk to me for like 10 minutes and please don't touch me.
It's exhausting.
It is exhausting. It's like, I just need like, I'm going to put headphones in for like 10 minutes, let me reset, and I will be back. But I did not feel jostled as much as I have in the past. I felt like I could breathe. I felt like there's still kind of like the hot spots of like the vendor hall, the exhibit hall.
The intersections.
Yeah. Like some of those like main highways, if you will.
They need to turn those into roundabouts or something. It could be a mess.
Well, that's what I felt like. Some of them tried to be roundabouts because there would be a trash can right in the dang middle of an intersection. And it's like, if everyone just walk in a circle, this would be much more efficient. Much like me at like a four-way intersection in my car. But yeah, like it was incredible how much of a difference it felt. And like friend of the show, Adam, he was on the show last year to talk to us about Gen Con. He mentioned that some of the event spaces, like the trading card game people or the CCG people, were more in the stadium. So it's like the board game only people and the card game only people were not in cross traffic as much as they were last year. So it was one of those, like, I feel like the traffic patterns had a huge like efficiency upgrade this year.
So what one show related thing about that first day and the running of the nerds there, I can't remember the company that publishes it now, but Juicy Fruits, which we played on the show recently, that company we've said,
CG?
hey,
Like Capstone Games.
Capstone Games. Capstone Games said, hey, if you buy $20 or more product from our booth, you will get a free copy of Juicy Fruits. So yeah, it's nice to get a copy of a game that I really love.
I was about to say, and now we all own it.
Now we all own it.
So I don't know about you guys. I mean, for the rest, my highlights, I mean, you know, when it comes down to it, Gen Con is about the games. A lot of my highlights blur across the rest of the days of just finding exciting games and enjoying food truck, whatchamacallit, party.
The block party. Yeah.
What was the hot game of the show this year?
Lightning Train, I think.
I heard,
Yes.
I don't know anything about it, but I heard Lightning Train just like when I was passing. So have you played Lightning Train? I got Lightning Train. Let's go see if Lightning Train's available. So it seemed to be very popular.
I don't think I know this at all.
Yeah. Eddie, no.
It's a new game from Paul Denon, designer of Clank, Dune Imperium. It's a bag building train game.
Okay.
Well, that sounds like fun. I can play that.
So that was really hot, but there wasn't some one bit, like last year it was Slay the Spire, was just huge.
The year before was Lorcana.
Yeah. This year
my
was kind of a
gosh.
few different things.
Because I also felt like last year was like the Neopets Battle Dome and like the 50th anniversary of D&D.
That
like
was huge last year.
Because that's what, like, I mentioned this earlier. It was like, what was the effect of tariffs on the event? And I feel like that was an effect where we just did not have like a powerhouse release this year.
I felt like looking at the list of games that BGG had posted that was coming out at Gen Con, it felt to me like I was looking at a lot of small box games.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Did that prove to be the case?
Card games.
It did feel that way. All Play had a ton of games released and coming out. So you saw a lot of All Play small box games walking around.
A shout out to Alibis, which is a great little codename, like co-op
Esque.
codename-esque word game.
Yeah, it was really fun.
We played a little bit of that, had a good time with it.
Also, the All Play booth is just really accessible in the exhibit hall because they have one single price for all of their tiny box games, one single price for all their medium box games.
Yeah.
Like it's just a very pleasant experience in the exhibit hall for purchasing wise.
I felt like there was some good talk about Star Wars Battle of Hoth, which is the new Star Wars reskin of the Command and Color series.
Days of Wonder.
But Days of Wonder, I was able to pick up a copy, loved it, played it a lot at the con, played it a lot after the con. So kind of a streamlined version of Memoir 44 if you've played that series. Trying to think of some other highlights from the con for me. That was kind of fun to see that. Let's talk about Restoration Games and their remake of one of my favorite old school titles, which is Battle Masters. They are bringing that back as Battle Monsters. So you're playing different. Each player has a kaiju that they are kind of the
like
crux of their team.
Godzilla versus, I forgot who I was.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was. I know Mothra is coming in one of the in like the future version of it. So they had
It was King something, not King Kong.
Ghidra?
It was
King Ghidra?
maybe.
That sounds wrong.
Were you a Hydra? You were some kind of Hydra. You had many heads,
or
right?
wait, King Kong?
Nah.
No, I just said that.
Emily can recognize King Kong at a great distance. But it was neat because it was kind of a prototype version that they had out, but with still 2 tables that you could play at. And then for me,
it was interesting. I liked it as someone who's never played Battle Masters.
Yeah, they did what they do best, which is finding the flaws in those older games and modernizing them and making them more playable. So I'm curious to see how that does when it releases. I don't know when it's set for.
Ghidorah.
Oh, there you
Yes.
go. Good job with your notes. And then for me, one of my favorite highlights was getting to sit down with Emily and friend of the show, Ryan, to play the new Pennywise expansion for Betrayal of House on Hill 3rd Edition. That getting to see like a Pennywise licensed game was good to start with, but the fact that it was a Betrayal at House of the Hill, which I love that series, that was a lot of fun.
I think it fits theming wise really, really well.
Does that mean that one of the players in the game is eventually playing as Pennywise?
Well, it could be.
Potentially.
So there were 5. I looked through the book a little bit. There are 5 scenarios. In our particular scenario, it was our
Bowers.
childhood
Bully.
our childhood bully, Henry Bowers, had come back and was harassing us and trying to murder. He had a hit list, and he worked his way down that hit list of the playable
it might be
characters.
Bowers, it might be Pennywise, or it might be the super Pennywise,
the spider
looking one.
randomness to it.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
But
that
it was really good.
That was really neat. And the premise is you're exploring the house on Niebolt Street from the novel.
That's why I think it hits the theme really well, because I was a little bit nervous going into the event, because I was like, Dwayne, I haven't played Betrayal. And it was like, that's okay. What you usually do is you explore a house, you uncover things, you get things, and then you fight a baddie. Eventually someone becomes a traitor.
The titual betrayal takes place.
What did you guys walk out of there with that you would consider the crown jewel of your collections for this year?
Oh man! So like I was saying a moment ago, I didn't run around the show floor and come back with 20 games like last year or whatever, some large thing. I actually only walked away with 6 games.
Hey,
okay.
From GenCon, which isn't bad at all. And 2 of them were actually just pickups from pre-orders or Kickstarters. So those 2, I got a new small box game from local studio Ivy Studios,
Yep.
a little card drafting game called Graft that's in the Tend universe.
Oh, nice.
Looking forward to that. I got Regicide Legacy.
I'm very
You
interested
bought a
about
deck of
that.
cards.
Well, look,
More
here's
than.
much more.
It's
so
a
much more than
huge
that.
box.
Okay.
Regicide itself is based off a 52 deck of cards. They created a legacy game out of it that is much more than that. So I'm curious to see how that plays out.
Oh my gosh. So instead of just slamming your head against the wall one time, you can do it over and
over.
over.
Exactly. Cat in the Tower, super little small dexterity game brought out by Arcane Wonders. Played it once so far. We did really well. It's actually a lot of fun. Rebirth, which I think you'd like a lot, JK, and you, Dwayne. Okay. I don't know if you have feelings on Mille Fiori or not.
I like Mille Fiori.
You do?
Yeah.
So this is a new game from Reiner Knizia that gives me Mille Fiori vibes. And it's, a lot of times his games are, when they release the remakes of his old games. He's designed so many games.
Right.
When a Reiner Knizia game comes out, you're like, oh, which game is this a rehash of? Rebirth is actually a new design, like Mille Fiori was. So excited to play that one. And only 2 more. So going to how tariffs affected publishers. Board and Dice always has some big releases every year. And I didn't hear anything about their games coming out ahead of Gen Con, but I went by their booth and they had a new tea game. It's called Tianjia. And it's a Great Wall kind of defense game. There's a little bit of semi-co-op going on, but it's from Danielle Tascini. I mean, Teotihuacan,
Tzolk'in.
Teotihuacan.
Which has an apostrophe in it.
Yeah, thanks for the reminder. So all the T games, he had a new release. And I asked them about it, and they said they didn't know if they were going to receive it in time or not, so they didn't market it at all.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they were demoing actually another T game that was just for there for demo, not release. So I picked that up because it just looked really neat and cool, and I'm looking more for those kind of medium plus Euro games, not these crazy overdone, complicated, whatever Euro games lately. So it kind of fell into my wheelhouse. And the last one is called Pergola, which I'm a big Meadow fan, and I'm walking around the exhibit hall, just checking things out, and I see a whole booth space in this. I see the Rebel Studios logo, which is who publishes Meadow. I'm like, what? They have a new game? Like this is, and clearly, I mean, it's garden themed
the
and all
design
that.
style looks a lot like
Yes, yeah. So I was like, this is the follow up to Meadow. So I bought it without playing it. I was like, it's an instant buy. So that's my looking into it now. It's actually lighter than Meadow, so I'm hoping it's still fun to play. But that was my surprise.
Okay.
Was just discovering that just by walking around.
Yeah, I was there. I was with you for that moment.
Yes.
It was great.
That's how I kept up my tradition of not buying a whole lot of games. I'm still dealing with some space issues that I'm trying to resolve eventually. And I looked at like the picture of our like haul picture, which included 3 people's worth of games, because I was JK's personal shopper.
You were my mule.
But I only came away with CG games because I really wanted that free Juicy Fruits.
Yes.
So I got that Juicy Fruits. I got Raising Chicago, which we had mentioned 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to get that to your house, JK, so we can try it, see if we like it.
Okay. I still feel like I finally got to see some pictures of it, and it's not super dynamic looking,
Right.
but it sounds interesting. So
Yes.
we'll see.
So I'm a little bit nervous because that was the one over Raising Chicago versus Tea Garden. Raising Chicago was the one I was familiar with just word of mouth wise. And so that's what I went with at CG Games. And then Up or Down, which was a cute little elevator card game. And so I'm like, I think this will be good for events. Let's go ahead, grab it. I'm interested. So I only came away with those. But at the con, I was really impressed with Roth from Chip Theory Games.
Yeah.
It looked like a very pretty area control game.
God, it's so neon.
Yes,
It
it's
is
so neon.
It's so great looking on
And
the
it's
table.
like, I love Chip Theory Games, like Too Many Bones fan over here. Well, I know Dwayne is. He's the one that introduced me to it. And it was one of those, we almost got it. It was sold out at GenCon, but if you ordered like the neoprene mats or something, if you ordered some kind of like add-on, you would get the game shipped to you for free. So we almost went for it, but then we found out James owns it. So I believe my boyfriend and I are going to try to play it with James, see if we want to add it to our collection, and then go from there. But Roth and then Flashpoint Fire Rescue, which I know is not a new release, but I'm really interested in the legacy.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see how the co-op game was and loved it.
That booth looked really popular. I didn't realize how popular that game is.
It was hard for me to pass
Yes.
up that legacy version,
Yeah.
but I had my eye. I tried. Are you good?
Yeah,
Because
no,
I'm
that
gonna
was
parlay
it.
Right into.
Yeah, go for it.
I really tried to limit my spending at this Gen Con. So I walked away with Juicy Fruits for free because Ryan happened to buy a game at their booth and gave me his copy. I did buy the Catan exit game, and I did that specifically to get the promo pack for the gang. And it gives you like 2 more win conditions. Instead of just winning 3 times, you have to win a total 5 times. And those last 2 have special rules for them.
Okay.
After playing Star Wars Battle of Hoth, I decided to go ahead and buy a copy of that. And then the last thing I purchased, I had a copy of the Anarchy on Amazon, which is supposed to ship sometime next month. I saw it at the con. I called my wife. I was like, hey, if we can cancel that, I think I'm going to pick this up. And on my way to the booth, I noticed that they were selling Innovation Ultimate Edition for like $11 off of retail. Innovation is a really interesting, really mean card game. The base game has about 115 cards in it. Every card is unique, does something different, so it's a lot of reading, a lot of calculating what your opponent's going to do. This version reworked some of the rules, had new artwork, and had every expansion that they've ever released plus a brand new expansion. So I decided to pick that up instead of the Anarchy.
Innovation is great at 2 players. it's okay beyond that.
I think it's best at 3 because of the demands that you can make. There's a function in the game where you basically have icons on cards that are showing like in your little tableau that you're building. And if certain cards have demand functions, so if you have more of like it will say castle, I demand something. If you have more castles than anyone, whoever you have more castles of at the table, you get stuff from them. So in a 3-player, it's a little more dynamic with that. But Innovation is a great, highly replayable game, and so I was glad to get that new Ultimate Edition of that.
Was that at the Renegade booth? I didn't realize that. I know they partner with Garfield sometimes, but because I know Garfield doesn't have a booth there, so I'm surprised to hear that.
I believe the
game
company
was
the gang.
The game.
The game. Innovation?
No, the one before that. I'm blanking.
Oh, sorry. I went through a lot very quickly.
Garfield Games, the follow-up to Hadrian's Wall.
Oh, the Anarchy.
The Anarchy.
You know who was selling that? Actually was the Hasbro booth.
Weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I did not get into why they had it. You know what? It is weird, and it didn't even cross my mind that it was weird when I saw it there. I was just so happy to see it. I was like, oh, wow, it's here.
Well, it sounds like you guys had a wonderful time.
It was quite fun. Looking forward to next year. Man, going twice now, and then also having done the session, it makes going back to GenCon not feel like it's an overwhelming thing anymore. Like having been dragged around to all the different hotels and venues doing our sessions, I've got lost enough now. I feel very comfortable in all the nooks and crannies of GenCon.
And honestly, leading up to this, before we had signed up to do our panel there, I kind of thought I was not going to do GenCon this year, and I kind of wondered if I was done with GenCon. I felt like I'd kind of done everything I want to do there. I can always grab the new games, but doing our panels kind of reinvigorated my interest in GenCon. And also when we went to turn in our event tickets, we got to chat with the people there, and they were like, if you run 70 player hours of events, you get free badges. The free badges is fine, but it got me to thinking, so often I go to the events page as it's coming up on GenCon to look for things that I want to play, like older games, and it's not there. And I realized instead of being disappointed that it's not there, I should
just run it,
submit an event and be like, hey, I would love to play this game and get people gathered for that.
Okay, I think we have some planning to do for next year.
100%.
I think we do.
GenCon's back on, baby.
GenCon 2026, here we go! Woo!
All right, Gleeples, this game of the show is Castles of Mad King Ludwig, the Colossal Edition. This is published by Bavaria Games. It was designed by Ted Alspach. Nope. Alspach. Thank you. Y'all just help me out with this as needed.
I was just sad that you messed up Ted.
Are you sad but surprised now? Art by Keith Curtis, Olin Tim, and Agni Shah. Oh, I tried so hard on this one.
Dwayne, just keep going.
Agni Shah Debrowika. It plays 2 to 5 players, but it's at its most gleeful at 4. JK, walk us through Castles of Mad King Ludwig.
In the Castles of Mad King Ludwig, you are all subcontractors to the Mad King, designing a castle requiring his specifications for what he wants to see in different rooms and design and all sorts of different elements. Now, the bulk of the game is played by placing out tiles to create your own custom castle. And each of those tiles is going to be a different variety of room. Some might be entertainment rooms, some might be bedrooms, some are food rooms, some are gardens. There's a whole variety of rooms you can choose from here. What makes this game really fun is that on your turn, you are selecting from an open market. Now, each turn, one player is the master builder, and they can arrange the rooms that are in the market based on value. The cheapest room is $1,000. The most expensive room is $15,000.
In a 4-player game.
And as players are buying the rooms, they are paying the master builder for that room. When it finally gets back around to the master builder to close out the round, they simply pay the bank for whatever rooms they want. So there's a lot of changing hands of money in this. There's some pretty hefty dollar amounts that go back and forth. Once you have your room, you attach it to another existing room in your castle and kind of go from there. You look at the individual scoring of that room and ultimately try and finish off the scoring of that room by by closing off every open passageway coming to that room, such as a door, with another room. If you can do that, you might get to score the room again, or you might have other bonuses that take place based on what type of room it is. You're going to play through this game until the deck of cards that determines what type of rooms come into the market is complete, and then you look and see how many end game goals you've accomplished and whether or not you actually did properly fulfill all of the Mad King's wishes. There's a lot to the scoring, but it's a pretty simple game overall. That's the Castles of Mad King Ludwig.
Okay, I'll kick us off. The master builder mechanic and the market mechanic in this game is one of my favorite game designs ever. The idea that I get to arrange a market and try to get in James. What does James need, and what is the maximum amount he's going to pay for what he needs?
Yep.
And so that way I can arrange the market to hopefully get money from my competing players.
Which JK got wrong on me the first round.
Well, I got it right. I just shot way too high.
Yes. Yeah, that's really what, looking back on playing this game, because outside of that, there's other games where you're putting tiles next to each other, and if this tile is next to this tile, they score more points. Now, there's some unique things in the way that this game does it, but the feeling of playing a game like that exists in other games. I think the way that they do the master builder and all that is what's unique about this, and it really is a fun way to go about trying to manage your income.
Yes.
Right? Because that's a big, when you're the master builder, you are really trying to use that round to get some income for yourself, to be able to buy tiles for the next three rounds
Yeah.
in a 4-player game.
There was one round in particular where I was the master builder, and James, based on the strategy that James was going through, you were trying to get all of the food production rooms.
Yep.
Now, if you complete a food production room, which means you close off all of the entrances to that room, your bonus for that is you get to take an additional turn, which allows you to buy an additional room. So I think there was one round, James, where you bought 3 rooms within one given turn.
Yeah.
Very possible to do in this game.
Spent a lot of money. So you were just filling my coffers. It was great. I just let you keep driving it. Of course, I had a bonus card that I thought was going to drive my points up based on how many individual coins I have. I misinterpreted that. So I was like, yeah, keep buying, keep throwing me money. This is great.
Well, I had a bonus card that gave me $5,000 coins every time I took an extra turn. So,
And that's what I felt like that really sped up the game, because I had played this one time before and I was like, I feel like I was barely getting going on my castle, but it was because James over here is taking like 3 turns every round.
But Emily, your first game was a 5-player game, which is
Okay,
not
that is
recommended for new players. And I know Emily was new at that point, but I wanted
also
to get that
somehow
to the
won.
table, and I was like, Emily's an experienced game player; she'll be fine with this. But yeah, we had very little. Sometimes this game has a little bit of downtime because players have to take. First of all, it's the master builder setup that can take some time as you're calculating things. Also, as players look at this board of 6 rooms somewhere in that neighborhood, trying to factor where they need it to go, how to maximize their points. Will it fit? A lot of times you're taking a room from the board and
Gotta line up those
manipulating
doors
it to see if you can get it to fit in your castle. I felt like we really did not have a lot of downtime in our game. For a 4-player game, it went really well. I can see why it is best at 4 players.
Now, this game was originally released in early 2000s?
2015 is about the first time I saw it, somewhere in that neighborhood.
And then not too long ago, there was a Kickstarter version which did a collector's version, added in some more rooms, added in a couple additional elements to the game. And just for aesthetic reasons, when they did that Kickstarter, they also released the Colossal Edition.
Yeah, for $100 extra, you can get a expansion that does nothing but make the rooms 3 times bigger.
They're
At least,
huge.
Yeah. It's got a massive table presence to it.
It looks great at I love taking this to cons because it just looks so fantastic on the table.
Now, it's hard enough as people are building out their castles to look around the table and see what other people are doing, because you're trying to keep track of, okay, well, I want to make sure that I don't give them that tile for cheap or this, so what other players are doing matters. And it's hard enough, I would imagine, normally, even with the normal size tiles, just because there's a lot of tiles, especially late game. We all have a pretty big build out of our castle. it is made that much more difficult when it's with this colossal edition because you're all farther away from me at the table.
I think it makes it easier though, because it makes something huge to look at. And it's one of those where it was like, Dwayne and I were standing up for like half of the game because it was just like, all right, that's just like the vibe for this game.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with you, James. I knew you were going after the cooking rooms. I knew Dwayne was going after the tower rooms. I had no idea what was going on with Emily's castle.
We were diagonal.
Well, here's the thing. In a 4-player game, you actually have four public goals, right? So it's really hard to play against, unless it's very obvious what a player was doing. Like we knew James needed, because of his decree that he played at the beginning of the game, we knew James wanted those extra turns. So we had some information on him. For me, it's more about focusing on those public goals and making sure, trying to make those rooms harder, more expensive for people to get. You can't factor that and the scores of the rooms and what each person is doing. It would take forever, and you're not going to put that puzzle together perfectly, even if you have all that information.
It's definitely one of those games where there's like multiple very obvious lanes to go forward.
Yes.
Because that's what I got chastised by Dwayne, because I made one of the public goal affected rooms
really
very cheap.
Yeah, we were going for square footage of activity rooms, and the largest square footage is 600, and that ended up priced at the bargain basement for 1,000.
Which I was happy to
claim. And we did a lot of shenanigans in that game. Like, oh, you shouldn't do that. But that was a mistake. I was like, that's going to benefit me too much. I'm just going to let Emily play it the way Emily wants to play it.
And it was one of those private goals or public goals. You also have private goals in this room, which I was kind of banking on, like maybe if I get enough private goals, that'll help offset the lack of points I'm getting from these public goals.
Yeah, and when you mentioned JK that you were diagonal from Emily, I realized now the hardest person for me to watch was Dwayne. Which was diagonal from me. Yeah, I do. And I mentioned earlier that yes, there's other games out there that this room next to this room scores this, kind of similar. But I like the way that this game does it, where you trigger when you play a tile out, a room out, you get points immediately right then and there. But then you're also getting points for the connected rooms next to it. So you are playing in kind of a double level deep puzzle when you're picking which tile from the market, not just to score what it scores, but then also what it connects to.
What had you done previously?
Yeah. And then also when you play that, it might help you close out a room. So it's almost 3 levels deep of like when you choose a tile from the market, there's a lot that you're considering, which I haven't always experienced in other games like this. So I like that it gave you a lot to think about, but it wasn't so much that it, like you mentioned, Dwayne, it could lead to AP, but it really didn't for us. I don't feel like.
It's not like a crushing amount. There's a lot going on, but it never feels like overwhelming. There's always a decent move to make.
Yep.
And of course, your money's going to limit that to some degree too.
And it felt breezy. There's a lot to consider when you start playing, I think, to figure out what strategy you're going to kind of go for. Your starting card helps with that. Your private goals will help with that. But even then, there's still a lot for you to, kind of kick it off with. But I feel like after you get a couple of tiles out, you'll kind of have something to kind of guide you.
Yeah.
Any negatives?
Not for me. I've been playing this game since the original edition. Much like Dwayne, I did back this Kickstarter to get the collector's edition and the colossal version, so that it was like playing a game out of my collection. I enjoyed it. It was fun to watch James kind of piece things together from his initial assessment of the rules to a couple turns into the game and going, we're in trouble. Let's figure this out.
Yeah, it was helpful that one of my private goals synergized with the power that I had. So I right off the bat had a driving direction. If you don't have that, I could see it taking a turn or two maybe to figure out what you want to do. But no negatives for me, actually. I really enjoyed the play. It was easy. It was breezy. It made sense, but it was satisfying. Like you said, it was like watching it come together. That was a fun experience. So I actually don't have any negatives.
I don't think I do either. It's one of those, I just want to play it like a couple more times just so that I can really understand the scoring, because I feel like there's just some times where it's like I felt like I didn't quite see the strategy the way James did, and part of that's just like the variability of your powers and your private goals and the public goals, whereas like I ended up winning my first game ever that I played with this because I accidentally stumbled into a high scoring strategy. And so I would love to do that on purpose someday. And so I think just like figuring out the strategies, I think I personally need a few more playthroughs of that.
There are one size room is considered the tower rooms, and in this special edition, there are actually 3D towers that you place on those rooms. Unfortunately, they do not fit the colossal tiles. I would love to see like towers that actually fit on the colossal map. That would be huge. It is a minor complaint. It's just something silly that I think would be fun. And there's probably like if I wanted to 3D print that, I bet it could happen. But yeah, minor complaint to the design of the colossal version.
We did not play with the Swans expansion, nor did we play with the Moats and Barbicans expansion. So there's a lot more content in that game that you guys didn't even get
passages
into.
are in there as well. Yeah, there's a lot just from that collector's edition. They packed it with all of the what was available at the time as far as the expansions.
Was this a 4 out of 4 on our Glee meter then?
Well, I'll start. For me, it's definitely keep it to play. I'm going to actively look to try and get it in the collection because it's easy to get to the table too. It's an easy teach. So yeah, keep it to play.
Keep it to play here.
It's a top 10 game for me, so keep it to play.
Keep it to play, 4 out of 4. I will add it is currently in beta on BGA, so you can play it online.
Get out. I had no idea.
It does not play well on the phone. There's just too much there, but I think it probably is a little bit better on a desktop.
So how did this turn out after it was all said and done?
Man, I felt like it was a pretty tight game. James had a good lead at the start. I think we narrowed that lead a little bit, but never overtook him.
I think there was a lot of late game points for Emily and I that kind of brought us back into contention. But
my beginner's luck ran out and still put me in fourth.
Yep.
I did run away and got the first, which leaves JK and Dwayne.
I think I took second, didn't
you
I?
Did.
You did.
Yes.
So I'm going to just be completely honest with you all. I did not realize until this very moment that I took second place. And now I'm like, oh dear, I need a game for the four of us to play.
Yeah,
so
you do.
I will come up with one quickly. It is not one that I love at 4 players, but it is playable at 4 players. And I think everybody at this table, Emily, you may not have played this one. Let me just cut to the chase. Let's play Obsession.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, otherwise known as Downton. I feel like we did Mad Max the board game with Thunder Road. This is Downton Abbey the board game, y'all.
Why don't we ever play that at Black Abbey? I feel like that would be the perfect, Downton Black Abbey.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes, nice.
No.
Nice.
That's funny.
All right, so Obsession is our game of the show for next time. Speaking of future games of the show, is there a game you'd like us to play? Have thoughts about Castles of Mad King Ludwig, Obsession, or other games we've discussed this episode, and it was a lot of them. Shoot us an email for a chance to have your comments read on a future episode. That email address is pod@gleefulmeeple.com.
Well, I think we've talked enough about games, especially games that released at GenCon, that it's time to play a game about games. No, not a GenCon released board game, but a GenCon released game about GenCon released board. No.
My mind just exploded.
Oh, this isn't going the way I thought it was. But it's time to play a game about board games live on air. Like I tried to do with my intro, this is about Gen-Con focused board games, whether they were released there or just kind of like really got promoted there.
I will get 0. Yay.
I don't think that's true.
You got the real, so I don't know.
Okay.
Because this game is 2 truths and a lie.
Let's go.
And we're going to be playing this game over 7 rounds.
Okay.
In which I will tell you a game.
Yep.
And then I will tell you 2 truths and a lie about that game.
Oh, fun. Okay. I like it.
Everyone needs to pick what is the lie. If you correctly guessed the lie, you will get a point for that round.
Okay. And we don't have to write down our answers ahead of time?
No, because I'll just do 1, 2, or 3.
I like this.
I'm going to ace this.
I'm on board.
Okay. So, our first game, which also just happened to be the answer to our riddle.
Oh, good.
Vantage is an open world adventure game that features an entire planet to explore. Which of these 3 facts, or which of these 3 statements is the lie about this game? Okay. So statement number 1, Vantage plays 1 to 6 people. Vantage is a competitive game. And in Vantage, one of the victory conditions is completing a mission. So therefore leading to a mission victory.
Okay.
So
Okay.
1, 2, or 3.
I have my answer
I
below the
have
table.
my answer.
Okay. Everyone go ahead and tell me or show your fingers. All right. So everyone got that correct. Vantage is not a
Hey.
competitive game. It is a co-op game.
Is this a co-op game?
So far.
We'll see. Your next game is Pina Coladice. Pina Coladice is a family party game with a cute cocktail theming. Which of these statements is the lie? Pina Coladice features coasters into its gameplay. There are 3 potential end game triggers in Pina Coladice. And Pina Coladice features a variant called Happy Hour that serves to penalize the player who enacts the variant. So is the lie 1, 2, or 3?
Ready?
And reveal.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
And only one of us played that game, suckers.
Three
I
different
did not.
answers.
So James has correctly figured out what the lie is.
Yeah.
Wait,
the guy who
that's the
didn't play
lie?
it, sucker.
Hold on. How is that the lie?
Pina Coladice has 3 potential endgame triggers, Dwayne,
Okay.
where you can get Pina Coladice by getting 4 in a
Right,
row,
yeah.
or hitting 20 points, or running out of drink
I
tokens.
forgot about the tokens.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
The Happy Hour variant, if you roll 1 through 3, it penalizes the rolling player. If you roll 4 through 6, it is kind of like a bonus to the rolling player.
Oh, I did not listen for
Yeah.
You
completeness.
like pina coladice.
And now
Pay
we're
more
being-
attention when you play.
Oh, well, that might have been the issue.
All right. Our next game is Alibis.
Okay.
Alibis tasks players with finding the perpetrator by eliminating suspects 2 at a time. Which statement of Alibis is the lie? Alibis was published by Allplay. Alibis plays 1 to 6 players. Alibis is a game with a mechanism of roles with asymmetric information. Go ahead, lock in your answers. And go ahead and reveal. One of you is correct. Alibis does not play 1-player version. And technically the mechanism is correct that you have asymmetric info because you know who your 2 suspects are in Alibis.
It's a weird way to define asymmetric in board games.
Yes. Don't
think we
argue
should
with
all
me.
get points,
You can
but
argue with Board Game
Just
Geek.
JK gets a point there. The guy that has never seen or heard of this game.
Sneaky 1 to 6.
This is code names but cooperative.
There we go.
It's a very fun game. All right, your next
I
game.
feel bad.
Your next game is Star Wars Battle of Hoth. Star Wars Battle of Hoth is a game of heroic and fast-paced battles of miniatures that's set on the ice planet Hoth and reenacts one of the most famous scenes of Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. Which of these statements is the lie?
Oh, I thought you were reading one of the statements. I was like, that's really long.
I'm trying to... these are newer
Building
games.
dramatic
Tell people-
tension.
yeah, I like
Yes. These are newer games, so I want people to have kind of a baseline for what they're about to hear. Battle of Hoth, this is statement number 1. Battle of Hoth is listed as a medium game on, medium weight
Okay,
game on
fine.
BGG. Battle of Hoth plays 2 or 4 players. Battle of Hoth re-implements Memoir 44. Which of these statements is the lie? Lock them in, lock them in.
I'm ready.
Ooh.
Ready?
Does it do?
Nope, James is still thinking.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, go ahead and reveal.
I don't know. Does it do teams?
It does do teams.
But it can play 3 players. So
Sort of. I mean, you can play two. Well, one side plays as a team and the other versus one player.
yeah.
so it does
Okay.
play 2 to 4 players. So
I thought you said 2 or 4.
She said 2 or
I-
4.
That's
Which is
why
the
it's a
lie.
lie. Because you can play 3
yeah.
players.
Okay. Okay.
So Dwayne
she's
got that one
tricksy.
correct. This
is why she wrote down the answers before we started playing.
Exactly. And I highlighted which ones to keep myself straight. So this next game did not release at GenCon, but it was announced as the Spiel des Jahres winner this year. This is Bombusters. This has taken the Gleeful Meeple board game group by storm.
It is blowing up at our events.
Oh, good one.
That was
So,
better.
Bombusters, you work as a team to cut all of the necessary wires to defuse the bombs. Which of these statements is the lie? Bombusters includes 66 missions past the tutorial missions, so I'm not including those. In Bombusters, cutting the red wire immediately ends the game. Bombusters includes 13 equipment cards, of which 5 may be used for a mission at a time. All right, we good to go?
Hold on. Will you read the last statement again?
Bombusters includes 13 equipment cards, of which 5 may be used for a mission.
Okay.
Ready? Go ahead and reveal. Number 3 is the lie. This one, I'm so sorry. You're going to get very annoyed with me. But it includes...
His eyes already show annoyed.
It includes 12 equipment cards, not 13.
Wow.
To activate the equipment card, you got to have the right number to cut.
That is true. But that was correct. 5 may be used for certain missions. Not every
I was more
mission.
focused on the may be used because it's not always 5. It depends on the number of players.
Exactly. And which mission it is, because some missions don't use any equipment cards.
Yep.
All right. All right.
Am I winning?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah. No. I'm not sure because you are winning.
All right. Second to last round, we have Lightning Train, which we did mention earlier. In Lightning Train, you will steer your railway company through a land of strategic opportunity in the bag building train game, Lightning Train. Which one of these statements about Lightning Train is false? Lightning Train sold out at GenCon. Lightning Train plays 1 to 4 players. Lightning Game is listed as a heavy game on BGG. Lock in your answers. Lock in your answers. All right, ready? Go ahead and reveal. And everyone got that one correct.
Yay.
The lie
Net
is
zero.
that it is a heavy game, in which it is not. All right, our last game. Do you want to give a score update first, Dwayne?
Yeah, that's Dwayne and James with 3, JK with 4.
Oh.
Ooh.
I hope you have a tiebreaker ready.
Because it's happening.
Yeah, we're going to have to do a tiebreaker. All right. Our last game is Luthier, or Luthier, if you don't want to pronounce it French-like.
Luther.
Luthier transports players to the height of classical music when the art of the instrument was upheld equally by skilled craftspeople, noble patrons, virtuoso performers, and famous composers. Which of these statements about Luthier is the lie? Luthier is listed as medium heavy on BGG. Luthier has a theme based on the height of classical music in America. In Luthier, a section of the board is called the balcony. Which of these statements is the lie? Go ahead and reveal. All right, everyone got that one as well.
Was there a height of classical music in America?
Yeah.
No. It was one of those, I was like, as the music major, I was like, I feel like they're not going to get tripped on this, but maybe if I talk about it very convincingly, maybe they'll get confused.
Well played. Well played.
So that is Western Europe is the height of classical music.
Yeah.
No insults to George Gershwin or Scott Joplin. Those were our composers.
Aaron Copland?
Aaron Copeland too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can
Yes.
bust out some American composers.
So what is our final score, Dwayne?
JK took it with 5 points. James and I just behind with 4 points.
So I guess you don't
And-
need to come to GenCon next year.
Yep.
You just got to read about it, I guess. Enough.
So that concludes our game challenge. Thanks for playing, y'all.
Thanks, Emily.
Yeah, thanks, Emily.
And I think that's going to do it for today, guys.
All right.
Good episode. We want to thank our sponsor, Pendant Publishing. Pendant Publishing, New York's finest book publisher, known for their coffee table books or their coffee table books about coffee tables.
I remember seeing that.
Was this too much of a reach for you?
It's Seinfeld?
It's a Seinfeld.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
wow.
Never watched it.
Yeah, Kramer did the coffee table book about coffee tables, and then it was also, I believe, where Elaine worked when they debuted the show.
Okay.
And then she eventually got fired.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we will have another episode out in about 2 weeks.
All right.
That said, we are going through some changes here. We've got our guy Dwayne here is leaving the Nashville area, heading to the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
It's going to change some things here for us logistically, but we're not making any major changes to the show. It's still going to be the four of us. We're just going to figure out how to accommodate distance for a while.
It'll be fun.
Looking forward to the challenge.
I've heard this thing called remote work.
Yeah.
I think it'll work for us if Dwayne gets on what's called a computer device.
You know,
Your device. Your computation machine.
I started listening to some other podcasts, to see what other people do, and figured out not too long ago they're not all in the same room all the time.
No,
so.
we have been very fortunate that we're together.
We have been fortunate,
Yeah, so-
and Dwayne will miss you in person, but we are definitely looking forward to seeing you online.
I will certainly miss sitting at this table with you all every few weeks. And I'm very glad to know that I'll be back in the Nashville area here and there, and hopefully we'll be able to record in person at some of those occasions.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if you want to reach out to us, you can email us at pod@gleefulmeeple.com or via Instagram at gleefulmeeplepod. We shall see you in 2 weeks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Gleeples.